Welcome to the MLMsuccess.com podcast, the show designed to return the network marketing industry to its roots of personal growth, leadership development, and wisdom of the ages success principles. We share with you real success stories from real people that we hope will inspire and encourage you personally and help you progress forward in your business and your life. We believe if you build people, people will build the business. Now here is your host, who has been called the number one mind in network marketing, the MLM prophet, network marketing virtual mentor, and a host of other names that we will not mention because this is a family show. Frankly, he's just a small town guy that figured out that the real product in network marketing is people. Dale Calvert.
Hey, this is Dale Calvert. I'd like to welcome you to this session of the MLMsuccess.com podcast. So appreciate you guys being with us this week. The title of this session is Customer Reorder Secrets. Customer Reorder Secrets. This podcast came because of a question I got from Brandy in Trent, Oregon, who's a listener. I appreciate you guys that send in the Ask Dale questions. It helps me try to share with you and get ideas of things that I think can make an impact for you guys quickly. What I'm going to do is over the summer, we're going to have some recorded trainings, some classics. Some awesome trainings that we have found in our warehouse that we're going to be getting up probably throughout most of the summer. We'll be doing a lot of different activities and events. We've got a lot happening this summer, got a lot going on, and I want to continue the podcast, obviously, but we're just going to make a couple of changes. One of the things I want to do, though, over the next few months is I just want to recognize those of you that do take the time to leave a review. And what I'm going to do for the next few weeks, maybe the next couple of months, is those that have left a review, I'm going to go in and have someone on our staff just pick out a review, and we'll read it. And if you hear us live reading your review, you can contact our office, MLMsuccesspodcast@gmail.com. It's the easiest way. And just let us know the size, small, medium, or large T-shirt you would like. And we're going to send out free T-shirts here for the next few weeks, maybe even a couple of months. If you hear your testimony, your review, leave a review on your podcast player. And if we choose your review to share, and you hear it, then all you have to do is send an email to MLMsuccess@gmail.com. Say my review, here's my name, my review is left, please send my T-shirt here, and let us know if you need small, medium, or large. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you hear it, we'll mail it. We mail all over the world our CDs and training programs every week. Be happy to get it to you, and appreciate all of you that take the time to give us feedback and leave reviews. It means more than you ever know. So the review this week, it's from someone, Deborah Chandler. And Deborah said, most self-proclaimed gurus never built a significant team. They are so focused on selling stuff to newbies. They don't know that newbies that don't know their backstory. They have a very simple-minded, generic understanding of what team building even means. If you look up team building in a dictionary, Dale Calvert's picture should be there. If what I've said makes sense to you, you will love this podcast. If it doesn't, keep listening to. And I mentioned another guru that I won't say, and other network marketing pros. Laugh out loud. Thank you, Deborah. Deborah Chandler, let us know. Appreciate that. I sincerely appreciate all reviews. Appreciate that. Send us your postal mailing address, MLMsuccesspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what size T-shirts you would like, and it will be in the mail to you. Now, this week, this is a question that we get quite often, or something that we hear people say. You've heard it said, you may be feeling this way. And it's, Dale, I can't get my customers to reorder. I've heard this for years and years and years. I can't get my customers to reorder. So I'm going to share with you a customer reorder secret. And let me say that it is more challenging today than it's ever been, but it's always been challenging. And here's the mindset, the mindset that you, as a distributor of products, this is the mindset that you are required to develop if you want to maximize your customer base and your upside potential. My personal belief as far as acquiring customers, and I understand there's people that make a lot of money just going into the market and acquiring customers consistently all the time, every day. But my belief, the network marketing business model is based upon a lot of people doing a little bit. So in general, depending upon your company, depending upon the structure, your comp plan, but in general, a good rule of thumb is you only need about 10 to 12 true, real customers to develop a significant organization, because when you add customers to your team, you're adding to your team. When you add business builders, and whatever your company may call those people, but people that really want to build a business, then you create multiplication to your team. And we did a podcast, I don't know what session, I should have looked it up, but we did a podcast on how to turn your product passion into a duplicating business. It's available. You can go to MLMsuccess.com, click on the podcast buttons. You'll see all the different sessions available there, but it was called, I think it's called Product Passion to Duplicating Business. And I think a lot of people get involved in network marketing and they treat it more like a direct sales opportunity than a team building opportunity. It's about team building. Yes, you need customers. The best team members you have many times will be people that originally started with you to consume your products. And, you retail to recruit, which we've talked about multiple times. But the mindset that must be developed for you to maximize your upside potential is, and this is important, if they buy once, they're a suspect. If they buy twice, reorder and buy twice, they're a prospect. If they buy 3 times, they're a customer. And there's no more important mindset that can be developed for yourself and for your team members. And I call this the customer reorder secret. If they buy once, they're a suspect, or what are they? Buy once, they're a suspect, twice they're a prospect, 3 times they're a customer. And that mentality will take you a long, long way in this business. So that's the first thing I would say, Brandy, is you really have to focus. And I don't think I even read Brandy's question, so let me do that now. Man, we're going 90 miles a minute here. Mr. Calvert, I've been with my company a couple years, and things have not been progressing as quickly as I had liked. Sidebar here, things never progress as quickly as most people want. Never. It's just consistency. Are you consistently learning, growing, and moving forward? And you just don't want to stay stagnant. The leader in my upline recommended your MLM Success podcast, and I have been a sponge and learned more valuable, actionable information this month since I've been listening than I have over the 2 years since I first joined. Here's my question. I have several customers order one time, but my reorder rate has been terrible. My customers aren't reordering. What can I do? And this is from Brandy in Trent, Oregon. And then she said, P.S. I have a college friend that is relentless trying to get me to take a look at her CBD oil company. Is that a product line I should consider? Okay, Brandy, I've changed your name. And I've also changed your location because you and your upline listen to this podcast, and I just don't want to create any kind of drama or friction on any front. So I did change your name, but you know who you are if you're listening, and I'm sure you are. So let's get down to this. If people are not reordering, that is it's either on the product line or it's on you. Most of the time it's on you. We have to take responsibility. If it's the product line, and I don't know what company you're with, but if it's the product line, then that's something you really need to consider, and you base that not upon the reorder rate in the company, because generically across the industry that stinks. And the reason it stinks, there's multiple reasons, but the number one reason is it's on the distributor, which I'm going to get into as we go through this. But I would ask you, do you believe in the product yourself? Have you had results? Is there documentation to back your beliefs? What kind of testimonies does your company have? So you want to make sure that it's not just, that you have a quality product that you're taking to the marketplace. If the company's been around 10, 15, 20 years, that's usually a pretty good indication that there's a quality product in the market. And I know, again, I know your company, and I know how long it's been around, and I have not heard anything but great things about the product line. So I think we're good with that. But those of you that are listening that have no idea what I'm talking about, that's what I would say. Look at the track record. Look at the people around you. What's your personal experience? Because there's been a ton of fluff Me-Too products that have been thrown into the marketplace, and then a comp plan built around it. And it was really just, people using a comp plan to create income with not a lot of time, effort, attention, science, devoted to the product line. And that's not the case in your case, Brandy and Trent Organ, but it is for many of the people that maybe listen to this podcast. So we'll take for granted, we'll assume that you have a quality product, a proven track record, customers that love the product, that would be consuming the product, even if there was no comp plan attached to it. So we'll assume that that's the truth, which I know it is with your company. So then it comes down to understanding the concept. If they buy once, they're suspect. Twice, they're prospect. 3 times, they're a customer. And it's our responsibility as distributors to create customers. Customers, not prospects. Not suspects. Customers. That's the go. We mistakenly think if they buy once, now they're my customer. They're not your customer. They're your suspect. And I'm going to get that. Don't let this concept leave you today. Make sure you're getting this. And again, some are saying, what did you just say? Guys, this is important. Get it in your head. Memorize it. It's real simple. If they buy once, they're a suspect. If they buy twice, they're a prospect. If they buy 3 times, then and only then can you consider them a real customer. And with most network marketing organizations, again, depending upon different factors, comp plans, and so forth, so on and so forth, a lot of other things. But in general, a good rule of thumb is most network marketing distributors only need about 8 to 12 true customers to build a huge organization. Network marketing is about a lot of people doing a little bit. You don't need hundreds or thousands of customers. I'm not saying you shouldn't continue to retail, but I'm saying you continue to get the product in the marketplace, because those people will be your best team members in many cases. You retail to recruit. You retail to recruit. And again, I've talked about this multiple times. So my question, my thought for all of you, Brandy, is after someone buys the first time and they're a suspect, what do you do after their product is delivered? What do you do after their product is delivered? And when I ask that question, when we consult one-on-one with people, usually I get a look back like a deer staring at headlights. And usually the answer is, well, I don't do anything. I just wait for them to order next month. And then they don't. And then third month, I think, well, surely they'll order this month, and they don't. And then I never hear from them again, or I call them and they give me an excuse and they aren't going to use my product. That's the pattern in this profession. That's the pattern. That's what happens 80, 90% of the time. And it's our fault as an industry for not really teaching people well enough. And those that do teach people well enough, some people aren't willing to follow it. I've said recently, and someone said, Dale, it really made an impact on me. It's like not being taught the systems, the 5 core systems that will generate long-term wealth and security in this profession, not being taught those. What's worse than not being taught those is being taught them but not implementing them. So I'm going to share some answers today regarding this subject. I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to give you the overview of the retail to recruit system, which I've done many times and talked about many times in many free content that we make available through this podcast and other areas. Okay, but hearing, most people have the ability to agree with common sense, and then most people continue to do what they've always done, expecting different results. I don't understand it. I just know that's the way it is. So I'm going to give it to you, knowing that most of the people will hear it. It's going to make sense, and that they will continue to do what they've always done. But some of you won't. Some of you will. This will make a huge impact for. So let's get into it. What do you do after the initial product is delivered? Now, if you have a weight loss product, I recommend that you have people weigh and measure before they start on the product. Weigh and measure, and I mean measure their waist, measure their thighs, measure, because fat and muscle factors. Some people can lose inches and not lose a lot of pounds. Muscle weighs more than fat. There's a lot of things that I'm not going to take the time to get into, but I will say weigh and measure. So with I don't have a weight loss. I've got a essential oil product. Whatever it is, if people don't consume the product consistently, regularly, they will not receive results most of the time. There's very few products that give you an instant result. Some do, but not that many. So in the beginning, we teach a basic fundamental concept, again, that is adaptable to different products. We've even taught this to people that market services. But we teach a very basic 3-day, 14, 29-day follow-up in the first month. This can be through text, email, or a phone call, depending upon where you are, where your customer is. There's a lot of factors, but the main thing is you want them to hear from you 3rd day, 14th day, 29th day. On the 3rd day, it's, hey, I just want to check with you and see, make sure you weighed and measured if it's weight loss. Awesome, I'll check back with you soon and get off the phone. It's not a social call. It's a quick on-off. Quick email. Hey, just want to check with you, make sure you got your product. See if you had any questions, make sure you weighed and measured. Hey, I just wanted to make sure you got your products. See if you've read through the directions, see if you have any questions. Because again, the goal, the responsibility of a distributor is to do your best to get the product consumed as soon as possible. Consumption. Get it consumed. There's people that have ordered products from network marketing distributors 3 years ago, and they're stuck back in a cabinet somewhere. No question about it. Why? Because for most of us, most people in this profession, they make the initial sale and wait. You cannot do that. You cannot do that if you want to really maximize your time, energy, and effort in this profession. So 3 days, 14 days is real simple. Hey, I just want to check with you and see how you're doing on the product. Don't say a word. Let them respond. If it's a nutritional product, you'll hear, or a weight loss product, you'll hear everything from I lost 19 pounds to it gave me diarrhea and I gave it to my sister to take, and everything in between. Okay, but you got to know it's your responsibility. 3-day, 14, 29-day call. The 29-day call is, according to my records, it's time for you to reorder your product. How would you like to receive up to $10 off your next purchase? Say, well, Dale, how do I do that? I'm not going to get into all that in this podcast. You go back through other podcasts and we talk about this multiple times. And yes, companies have made it very difficult today to be able to do that. I don't know why. I think the mindset of the profession, this includes companies as well as distributors, is one-time sales and not the development of real customers. One-time sales, all you're doing is identifying suspects. So people go from a suspect, they reorder their prospect, they order 3 times their customer. That philosophy, you can take it to the bank. It's difficult to implement. It's much easier, especially if you have a hot product. Just go out there and sell, and make your upfront commissions, whatever they are, and then cross your fingers and hope that there's reorders that come in. But that's not a good business model. So that's what I would tell you, Brandy in Oregon. What is your follow-up process? What's your 3-day, 14, 29-day call follow-up? I'm sure if you go back through this podcast, I've talked about more specifically this. There's probably, if you go to MLMhelp.com and type in the search box retail to recruit, there's probably articles and videos there as well. So I hope that will help you. The mindset will help everybody. The mindset will help everybody. Understand you don't need a ton. You don't need hundreds of customers to build a team. Network marketing is about a lot of people doing a little bit. Most companies, 8, 10, 12 customers, you're good. Yes, you should continue to share your product. Why? Because you want to retail to recruit. Some of your best people will come from, initially will be product consumers. And then the last part of your question, what was your PS here? Your PS, I have a college friend that is relentless trying to get me to take a look at it. Her CBD oil company, is that a product line I should consider? CBD oil is Me-Too at a level that we have not seen in this industry in a long time. I'm just going to be honest. And I understand there's a ton of you listen to this podcast that market CBD oil. I understand that, and if your company doesn't, they'll probably be adding it soon. Okay, so don't take this stuff personal, guys. I'm just, and I know you do, but I know the right people. There's so many people that at some point I make upset, and then they come back a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, and start listening. And I get these stories every day that I missed this and you made me mad and I got upset and I wish I'd continued to listen because you were right. And again, guys, my whole focus is I'm going to tell you the truth even when I know you don't want to hear it. From my perspective, I'm going to share, 35 plus years in this profession, I'm going to share with you the truth. And because I'm just going to sleep at night, honestly. I'm going to, and I know a lot of times people don't want to hear, but don't blame me. She asked the question, I'm going to answer it. I'm going to answer it. There's no more. I feel like I'm flashing back to the juice days when Miranda comes out with a phenomenal product, still a phenomenal product, and then before you know it, within a 18-month period of time, there's 76 juices being sold through network marketing companies. Everybody jumps on the bandwagon. It's amazing to me. And well, and I've asked company owners, why did you do it? Well, we were losing people to Zango, so we decided we need to come up with our own juice. Well, why are companies that are very well established, why are they adding CBD oils? And why are there so many CBD oils hitting the market? Well, it's a phenomenal product. Okay, but it's also a splintered. One company could do $1 billion in CBD oil sales quickly because it's a phenomenal product, depending upon a lot of different factors like the strands that it was originated from, and I'm not going to get into all that. But one company could do $1 billion in CBD oil sales quickly. But what happens, and we've seen this over and over and over again, we can go back to pycnogenol, chromium picolinate, whatever you want to talk about. I mean, it's just the same patterns over and over. And what happens is someone starts getting traction with CBD oil, and then somebody else comes out with a company, and then somebody else, and somebody else. And then before you know it, it's like it's everywhere. And then it becomes mainstream. This is real important. When it becomes mainstream, there'll be a time when a product becomes mainstream and it ends up on the shelf in retail stores and gas stations and everywhere else, then it's a price war to the bottom. And it's like, why should I buy your $58 CBD oil when I can buy this $39 CBD? Why should I buy your $39 CBD oil when I can buy this $27 CBD? Why should I buy your $27 when I can get it for $9.99 at the Citgo gas station down here? That's predictable, a very predictable pattern. Okay, and it just happens over and over and over. So, just to answer your question, of all the products that I would not recommend at this point in time in history trying to start new with would be CBD oil. Because then what happens, you have the race to the bottom, and then you get into mine's better than yours. Mine's better than yours. And then so you can't even market the product without first trying to explain to the market why yours is better than somebody else's that they can buy. And that's a game that none of us, at least I don't feel like, is time well spent. I just don't. So I just needed to say that. Again, I thank you for this question. I appreciate you guys, appreciate your input. Before somebody sends me an email and say, well, Dale, what nutrition product do you recommend? There's about 3 or 4 companies right now, depending upon what somebody's looking for, whether they're looking for credibility, stability. There's about 3 or 4 different companies right now that I would suggest people to take a look at in the health market. You can check out I don't want to give you the wrong, personaldnanutrition.com, personaldnanutrition.com. I believe that's the URL. You can check that out if you want to. I know some of you are looking right now. You're not involved with any particular company. Those that are and involved in the nutritional health or any service, and you're having trouble with customer reorders, I hope that you will take this information I've shared to heart, internalize it, figure out what your 3-day, 14, 29-day follow-up is, and implement it. Implement it, because great customer acquisition is if you have a great product or service that you're taking to the marketplace, then great customer acquisition is on you. It's on you. And getting better, refining what you're doing. It's not just about selling the product. It's about creating customers. And remember, if they buy once, they're a suspect. If they buy twice, they're a prospect. If they buy 3 times, they're a customer. Hope this gives you something to think about. You guys have a great week. This is Dale Calvert. You can check out all the podcasts that we've done. They're all online for you at MLMsuccess.com. I appreciate you being with us, and I'll talk to you again next week, next Tuesday, every Tuesday. If you haven't subscribed, just hit the subscribe button, and then you'll be notified when a new podcast is dropped. And our podcast producer, this particular podcast, is made available to you guys on Tuesday. This is Dale Calvert. Have a great week. It's beautiful here. Absolutely gorgeous spring day in Atlanta, Georgia. We hope you're doing well and look forward to speaking with you next week on another session of MLMsuccess.com, the MLMsuccess.com podcast.
If you haven't gone over to iTunes yet and rated and left this podcast a review, what are you waiting for? At Calvert Marketing Group, we want to spend our time on the projects that we know are providing the most value for our clients and customers. You leaving us a review and feedback on iTunes is something that helps us more than you realize. And more importantly, it helps others like you find us. So if you've not taken the time to rate this podcast, please go over to iTunes and do that for us now. It will only take a couple of minutes out of your busy schedule. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and we will be back next week with another inspiring success story, wisdom of the ages training, or answers to your questions.